Welcome back today. In this video, we are diving into the fascinating world of British coin collecting, focusing on the top 5 most valuable United Kingdom threepence coins. The humble threepence, or threepence as it was affectionately known, was once a staple in everyday commerce, but some years, mint marks, and conditions have transformed certain examples into prized collector's items worth far more than face value. Let's explore the 5 standout issues that are truly worth your attention. Let's get started. First up, the United Kingdom 1962 threepence, often called the threepenny bit. We'll explore its history, unique design, rarity, and most importantly, its market value in fine condition. If you've got one of these coins lying around, you might be surprised by what it's worth in today's collector market. The 1962 threepence was issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, only a decade after her coronation in 1953. The coin was part of the pre-decimal British currency system, where 12 pence made a shilling and 20 shillings made a pound. Unlike many earlier coins, the threepence of this period was not round but dodecagonal, a 12-sided coin. This design was introduced in 1937 and continued until the coinage reforms of 1971, when the UK moved to a decimal system. The 1962 issue was struck in large quantities for everyday use, making it a staple in pockets and purses across Britain. One of the most recognizable features of the 1962 threepence is its unusual shape. The 12-sided design made it easy to distinguish by touch, even in a pocket full of coins. On the obverse, we see the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick, which captures a fresh and regal image of the monarch. On the reverse, the coin features a design of a crowned portcullis with chains, a symbol often associated with the Palace of Westminster. This imagery reflects Britain's historic ties to Parliament and governance. The coin was minted in nickel brass, giving it a distinct yellowish tone that stood out from the silver and copper coins in circulation. Now, when it comes to rarity, the 1962 threepence is not considered one of the scarcest coins of the series. Millions were minted, meaning examples are still quite common today. However, the real value lies in the condition of the coin. Many surviving examples are heavily worn, tarnished, or damaged, as they were used in circulation for decades. Collectors generally prefer coins in higher grades, such as uncirculated or extremely fine. But even in fine condition, the coin holds appeal for those building complete sets of Queen Elizabeth II's pre-decimal issues. In damaged or poor condition, demand is relatively low, and such coins typically hold more sentimental or historical than financial value. So, what about the price? In fine condition, a 1962 threepence typically sells for around $634,000 on the collector market. Higher grades, especially uncirculated examples with strong luster, can fetch $225,000 depending on the buyer. Rare varieties or error strikes, though unusual for this year, can sometimes command higher prices at auction. In damaged or very worn condition, the coin's value often drops close to its base collector price, usually under $1. While it won't make you rich, it remains a nice affordable entry piece for beginner collectors. If you're interested in collecting these coins, here are a few tips. First, always pay attention to condition. Even slight improvements in grade can make a big difference in value. Second, look out for bulk lots of threepence coins, as they may contain better preserved examples or even rare dates mixed in. Third, handle your coins carefully and store them in protective holders to prevent scratches or further wear. And finally, don't underestimate the historical charm of these coins. Their distinctive shape and strong connection to Britain's pre-decimal currency make them a conversation starter in any collection. In conclusion, the 1962 United Kingdom threepence may not be a rare or high-value coin, but it's an important piece of British numismatic history. Its unique 12-sided design, historic symbolism, and place in the reign of Queen Elizabeth II give it lasting appeal among collectors. In fine condition, you can expect it to be worth a modest amount, usually under a few dollars, but its real value lies in its history and collectability. So, if you've got one tucked away, hold on to it. It's a small piece of Britain's past that continues to shine today. Next up, the United Kingdom threepence coin from 1967, examined in fine condition. While this coin may not immediately strike you as rare, it carries a fascinating history, unique design features, and a place in the hearts of collectors. In this video, we'll explore its background, discuss its rarity, assess its current market value in dollars, and offer tips for collectors who are interested in adding this piece to their collections. The 1967 3p coin belongs to the final years of pre-decimal currency in Britain. The UK used the pre-decimal system until 1971, when decimalisation introduced the new penny and decimal coinage we know today. The 3p, often nicknamed the threepenny bit, was introduced in the 1930s as a more practical replacement for the silver threepence coins. Made of brass and with a distinctive 12-sided shape, it was designed to stand out from other coins in circulation. By 1967, the 3p had become one of the most widely used coins in everyday transactions across the country. One of the most notable features of the 1967 3p is its 12-sided, dodecagonal design, a shape that was instantly recognizable by touch alone. On the obverse, you'll find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick, which had been in use since her accession to the throne in 1952. The reverse features a crowned portcullis, designed by Sir Charles Wheeler, which symbolises the history of Parliament and the long tradition of British governance. The brass composition gave the coin a bright yellow-golden appearance, making it visually distinct from other denominations of the time. While the 1967 3p was minted in very large numbers, making it far from rare in general circulation, condition plays a massive role in its collectability. Millions of these coins were produced, but over the decades, most have been lost, damaged, or corroded due to their brass composition, which is more susceptible to wear and tarnish compared to silver or copper coins. Even in damaged or heavily circulated condition, collectors sometimes pick them up as affordable starter pieces or for completing year-specific collections. That said, serious numismatists usually seek coins in higher grades such as fine, very fine, or uncirculated condition. In fine condition, the coin retains much of its detail but shows clear signs of circulation and wear, which can still appeal to entry-level collectors. Now, let's talk about money, the value of the 1967 3p today. Because this coin was produced in such high quantities, its value in fine condition is quite modest compared to other rare British coins. On average, a 1967 3p in fine condition might sell for around $431,000 in casual sales, such as at flea markets or online listings. In more formal auction settings, especially when bundled with other coins or as part of a full pre-decimal collection, it might fetch slightly more, around $321,000 depending on buyer demand. However, the real value comes in uncirculated or proof examples, which can bring in higher figures, sometimes $114,000 or more. In damaged or heavily corroded condition, the value often drops below $1, serving more as a curiosity than an investment. If you're interested in collecting the 1967 3p, here are a few helpful tips. First, always examine the condition closely. Coins with less tarnish, sharper details, and minimal edge wear will always stand out in the market. Second, consider collecting the 3p across multiple years to build a full historical set, which can increase the value of your collection over time. Third, store your coins properly in a cool, dry place and use coin holders or albums to prevent further tarnishing. Finally, keep an eye on auctions and estate sales. Sometimes these coins are undervalued when sold in bulk lots, allowing collectors to pick them up at a bargain. The 1967 United Kingdom 3p may not be the rarest coin in British history, but it represents an important chapter in the story of pre-decimal currency. Its unique 12-sided design, historical significance, and affordability make it an excellent choice for new collectors or those seeking to complete a comprehensive British coin set. While its value in fine condition is relatively low, ranging from under $1 to a few dollars, it remains a coin worth having, especially as a piece of numismatic history from the final years before decimalization. Whether you're collecting for passion, history, or investment, the 1967 3p continues to hold its place as a fascinating reminder of Britain's rich coinage heritage. Next up, the United Kingdom 3p from 1953. In this video, we'll explore its history, unique design features, how rare it is in circulated fine condition, and most importantly, what it's worth in today's auction market in US dollars. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your coin collecting journey, this video will help you understand why the 1953 3p holds an interesting place in numismatic history. The 3p coin, often called a threepenny bit, was a staple of British currency for decades. The 1953 issue is especially significant because it marked the very first official coinage year of Queen Elizabeth II after her coronation. The Royal Mint struck a full new set of coins to celebrate this historic event, and the threepence was an essential part of that set. Unlike later years, 1953 coins were largely produced in sets for commemorative purposes, though some also entered circulation. Because of this, they carry a symbolic value beyond their monetary worth. They represent the beginning of a new royal era. The 1953 threepence stands out with its distinctive 12-sided brass design. On the obverse, you'll find the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick. This portrait was admired for its elegant and fresh representation of the young queen, without the heavy crown or ornate symbols seen in later designs. The reverse features a crowned portcullis, a traditional symbol of Parliament, which had been used since earlier coinage. Its bold, angular shape and golden brass colour make it one of the most instantly recognisable coins of mid-20th century Britain. Now, let's discuss rarity. The 1953 threepence is not among the scarcest coins ever made, but its importance as the first year of Elizabeth II's reign keeps it in steady demand. Most coins from this year were preserved in proof or uncirculated sets, which means circulated examples in fine condition are less commonly collected. Even coins that have suffered wear or slight damage still attract collectors, because they represent a tangible link to the coronation year. While they aren't exceedingly rare, the combination of historical significance and collector interest gives the coin a steady presence in the numismatic market. When it comes to market value, circulated fine condition 1953 threepence coins generally sell for a modest price. At auction or through online sales, they can fetch anywhere between $316,000 depending on where an eye appeal. If the coin is part of a set or has particularly sharp details despite circulation, it may reach slightly higher figures, but collectors should not expect extremely high prices. Uncirculated or proof versions, of course, command a premium and can go for $114,000 or more, but those are a different story. If you're considering adding a 1953 threepence to your collection, here are a few tips. First, always pay attention to condition. Coins with less damage and sharper features are more desirable, even in circulated grades. Second, keep in mind that provenance matters. Coins that come from official sets or are accompanied by original packaging often attract stronger interest. Finally, remember that while this coin may not make you rich, it's a historically meaningful piece that adds depth and character to any British coin collection. In summary, the 1953 United Kingdom threepence in circulated fine condition may not be the rarest or most valuable coin in the numismatic world, but it carries undeniable historical significance as the first coinage year of Queen Elizabeth II. Its brass, 12-sided design makes it instantly recognisable, and its modest auction value still keeps it accessible to collectors at all levels. If you come across one, whether in a coin shop, auction, or inherited collection, it's a small but valuable reminder of a turning point in British history. Next up, the United Kingdom threepence coin from 1943, focusing specifically on examples that have survived in rusty or corroded condition. Even though this may not seem like the most glamorous piece at first glance, the 1943 threepence has an interesting backstory, unique design features, and a market value that might surprise you, even when the coin shows significant damage. Whether you're an experienced collector or just beginning your numismatic journey, understanding the historical importance and market trends of this coin is essential. The United Kingdom threepence coin, also known as the threepenny bit, was introduced during the reign of King George VI. By 1943, the coin had shifted away from traditional silver composition and was being struck in brass. This change was made during World War II, as precious metals were needed for the war effort. The brass alloy, made up of copper, zinc, and a touch of nickel, gave the coin its distinctive yellowish tone. This material was durable but not immune to environmental effects, which is why many examples today show rust-like corrosion when exposed to moisture or improper storage. The threepence coin of this period was also part of the larger transition in British coinage. While older silver threepence coins were still in circulation, the brass dodecagonal, 12-sided, version introduced in 1937 became a symbol of modernity and practicality. The 1943 issue came during a time of national struggle and sacrifice, making it not only a piece of money but also a small artifact of wartime Britain. The 1943 threepence stands out because of its 12-sided shape, which made it easily distinguishable from other coins in circulation at the time. The obverse features the left-facing portrait of King George VI, with the Latin inscription Georgiev 6DGBROMN Rex F laughing smiley INDIMP, which translates to George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. On the reverse side, you'll find the crowned thrift plant, a hardy flower that symbolizes resilience and survival, an appropriate emblem for the wartime years. Its brass composition gave the coin a heavier and sturdier feel compared to earlier silver issues, but unfortunately, this material also made it more vulnerable to discoloration, tarnish, and corrosion if not cared for properly. Coins found today in rusty or corroded condition often show surface pitting, dulling of the golden color, and in severe cases, erosion of the finer design details. When it comes to rarity, the 1943 Threepence is not considered one of the scarcest issues in the series. Millions were minted to meet wartime demands, so finding an example is not difficult. However, condition plays a massive role in value. High-grade coins with sharp detail and minimal wear are far more desirable. Rusty or heavily corroded coins, unfortunately, fall into the lower end of the collector spectrum. That said, damaged coins like these still hold collector interest for a few reasons. First, they are affordable entry points for beginners who want to own a piece of history without spending a fortune. Second, they are still tangible links to World War II Britain, making them historically appealing. Finally, some collectors deliberately seek out coins in all conditions to show the full range of how coins can survive through time and environment. While demand for rusty pieces is lower, there is still a niche market for them. Now let's talk about what many of you are curious about: the value of a 1943 United Kingdom threepence in rusty condition. In pristine, uncirculated condition, these coins can sell for anywhere between $221,000, sometimes higher if the luster and sharpness are exceptional. However, when the coin is rusty, corroded, or damaged, its value drops significantly, and in most cases, a rusty 1943 threepence will bring in anywhere between $325,000 on the collector's market. Occasionally, a buyer may pay slightly more if the coin still retains identifiable details or if it fills a gap in their collection. At auction, heavily worn or damaged examples rarely generate strong competition, but they can still sell for a few dollars, depending on the buyer's interest. For collectors, this is a budget-friendly way to own a genuine wartime coin. If you're considering adding a 1943 threepence to your collection, here are a few important tips. First, always handle brass coins with care, as they are prone to tarnishing from skin oils and moisture. If you encounter a rusty example, avoid cleaning it harshly, as this can cause further damage and reduce its value even more. Instead, store it properly in a dry, controlled environment, ideally in a coin holder or protective sleeve. For those starting out, don't overlook damaged or rusty coins. They are affordable, accessible, and still carry historical significance. As your collection grows, you may want to upgrade to better quality examples, but even the most modest piece can spark your passion for numismatics. Finally, always research the coin market before buying or selling. Prices fluctuate depending on demand, condition, and the trends in coin collecting. The 1943 United Kingdom threepence may not be the rarest coin in British history, but it is certainly a meaningful one. Struck during the height of World War II, its brass composition and thrift plant design carry deep symbolic value. While examples in rusty or corroded condition may not fetch high prices at auction, they still represent an affordable and historically rich addition to any collection. For just a few dollars, you can own a coin that tells a story of resilience, wartime sacrifice, and everyday life in 1940s Britain. Whether you collect for value, history, or passion, the 1943 threepence remains a fascinating coin worth learning about and appreciating. Next up, the United Kingdom's threepence coin from the year 1941. This particular coin, even in circulated condition, carries both historical and numismatic interest. We'll break down its background, unique features, collector demand, and most importantly, its current market value in US dollars. So, if you have one of these coins tucked away, you'll definitely want to watch until the end. The 1941 threepence coin was struck during the reign of King George VI, a time when the world was deeply affected by World War II. Britain was in the thick of the war effort, and coinage was an essential part of everyday life despite the hardships of the time. This coin belongs to the brass 12-sided series, introduced in 1937 as part of a modernization of British coinage. With rationing, shortages, and war production in full swing, minting these coins was a way of maintaining economic stability for ordinary citizens. One of the most recognizable aspects of the 1941 threepence is its distinctive dodecagonal or 12-sided shape. Made of brass, the coin weighs about 6.8 grams and measures 21 millimeters across. On the obverse, you'll find the left-facing portrait of King George VI, accompanied by his official Latin title. On the reverse is the classic design of a thrift plant, symbolizing growth and renewal, surrounded by the words threepence and the date below. These design choices not only made the coin easy to identify by touch, but also gave it a unique look compared to other coins of its era. When it comes to rarity, the 1941 threepence is not considered scarce in general terms. Millions were minted to serve the wartime economy, so examples are relatively common on the collector market. However, condition plays a huge role in value. In circulated or damaged condition, the coin loses much of its premium appeal. That said, collectors who aim to complete a date set of King George VI threepence coins may still seek out 1941 examples, even if they are worn or tarnished. Demand remains steady for average pieces, but true competition among collectors arises only for higher-grade or uncirculated examples. So, what is a circulated 1941 threepence worth today? On the US market, values generally range between $326,000 depending on the degree of wear. If the coin is heavily damaged, corroded, or bent, it may only fetch its metal value, which is negligible. However, nicely circulated pieces with clear details may go for the higher end of that range. Only coins in extremely fine or uncirculated condition push beyond a few dollars, sometimes reaching $10 or more at auction. But for circulated examples, the value is modest, reflecting their availability. If you're a collector, there are a few things to keep in mind when dealing with the 1941 threepence. First, always check the coin's condition. Sharp details and minimal wear make all the difference. Second, look for original luster, which can boost appeal even in circulated coins. Third, handle brass coins carefully, as they are prone to tarnishing. And finally, consider collecting the full series of King George VI threepence coins, as this creates a complete historical set that showcases the wartime and post-war years. In conclusion, the 1941 United Kingdom threepence is a fascinating piece of history from one of the most pivotal years of the 20th century. While not especially rare in circulated condition, it still holds collectible interest and a modest market value. For most collectors, its worth lies not in dollars, but in the story it tells of resilience, wartime Britain, and the everyday lives of people who once used it in their daily transactions. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into rare and historic coins.